So every year we get some sort of max icon or max hero pack. We have got the 87 max hero upgrade coming at some point very, very soon. If it's today, if it's tomorrow, it will happen. So we're going to go through all of the 85 to 87s that you can actually get and where they truly rate. Now, the only ones we're missing are kind of these, really. We've obviously got the likes of Hazard, Maicon, Tevez, Schneider. If you go up Company, I think Lucio should be in here, Di Natale, Carvalho, Lizarazu, Ginola, Villali, Pele, Voller. So they're the kind of ones we're missing here. In terms of pricing, we're looking between the big boys as well, of course. Like Ginola and Di Natale, Lucio are going to be massive in terms of what price we're missing out. In terms of the price that we've actually got, if we go to number one, that's right. If we go to the top price, at the minute, Yaya Toure and Hamsik will be the number one spot and number two spot for the pricing of 1.4 million and 909,000. So they're obviously two of the ones that you'll probably want to get for the pricing side of it. Now, we've still got a fair few decent players. When it comes to Hamsik, you've obviously got himself a decent statted card across the board, to be honest. Not necessarily the worst in the world. Got himself the Power Shot Plus. He's in the cam. Stats are decent. He's a brand new player. Now, whether I'd consider him to be an S+, I don't think so. I think he's a solid absolute S, but I wouldn't necessarily go up into that maximum category. I think there's only a fair few that go up there. We look across the board as well. There is some lower ones. We look at the likes of Crouch. He's unfortunately not going to do anything really. Like maybe for the start of the game, I could look into potentially an A, because realistically, he's going to be better than a lot of the 1 to 5k strikers. But even then, there's very little he can do with this bog standard card, unfortunately. When he gets the upgrades and he starts to really kind of naturally beef out his stats a little bit, he works a lot better, but for right now, he's not really there. Same as Kanu, he's very, very similar. He's just not there at all. When we look at the two Americans, we obviously have Dempsey and also Donovan. I thought I was going to go the other way around. Obviously, Dempsey's coming in at an 85, 61,000. Very bog standard cam. Nothing too crazy going on with him. Donovan does have a little bit more about him. Again, both of them don't have the Playstyle Pluses, which is what it is. He's coming in at 100,000 coins, and at least with his sort of cam roll, he's coming in slightly better. I'd probably go something like Clint in the A, very much coming down into a B+ soon, and I'd go Donovan into an A+. Dudek, on the other hand, I would go in an A+ again, and I'd do the same for Tim Howard at this moment in time. I think they definitely both need the upgrade to really put themselves into this work. Obviously, Dudek as the 86, he's got himself the, I don't even know what this one is. Where is it? I want to say it's the Rush Out. I want to say that is for Dudek, and then Tim Howard has... It's a different Tim Howard, to be honest. I can't wait to see them, but you only get one of them, which is a bit unfortunate. The Far Throw, I was going to say, I thought it was. Looking at the rest of them, so we've got the likes of Ledley King as one of the centre-backs. We've got Carragher as well. Both within their own right, to be honest. Ledley King definitely coming in slightly better into that kind of low S band, in my opinion. And I'd go Carragher in that A+. And it's predominantly because we do have the Playstyle Pluses on them. There's a massive factor at the moment that we are missing a lot of Playstyle Pluses, because that's kind of how they're going with the progression of the game. We can see in the Evos, there's no Playstyle Pluses. I think we've had one so far out of about 12. And obviously upgrades as well. Road to the Knockouts, not coming with them, so you can tell they are pushing for the progression of a Playstyle Plus to mean a hell of a lot. So anybody with a Playstyle Plus is almost a slight advantage at the moment, meaning they will drop down very quickly. Ledley King more than likely will be an A+ within the next month, and Carragher more than likely into that A, because we'll have a lot more centre backs. Then we've got the likes of our beautiful boy Capdevia, very good left back. This year slightly a bit different, and again even last year was kind of the same, because we didn't get an upgrade for, how long was it? It was, yeah, I was going to say it was the greats of the game, literally from an 86 to a 97. Now I hope he does manage to get a better card before then. He is a very, very good left back. but at the moment I would still put him in a bog standard compared to what we have got. If you consider the icons we've got, the Furlan Mendes, the Alfonsos, the Teos, the Backers, the Sakinas, there is so many left backs at this point. I could maybe be very lenient into that S, but I would say it would be like Ledley King in a week or two, because he's not going to get an upgrade by then. He would have to go down, in my opinion anyway. Looking through the Saudi Arabian boys, then we have El Waran, El Jabba, and Noir or Noor. I don't know how you pronounce it. Very, very good across the board, to be honest. All very good players. Obviously, El Waran will come in as the top beta there, coming in at 626,000. He is one you definitely want. El Jabba, very similar to kind of like a Clint. At the minute, he's got the Finesse Shot Plus, which is actually semi-decent, and he's got a bit of pace about him. He's up in a category that he shouldn't be, and will drop down very, very quickly. But for right now, he's doing a job. And Noir, it just is what he is. He's a very bog standard. He's got nice stats across the board for a centre mid. Well, a cam, in fact. But the only thing he's missing, really, is just having that extra little bit about him. The 3-star, 4-star. He is very, very bog standard. So I think El Waran would go into that S. I'd go El Jabber into the A+, and Noor I will go into the A. Then obviously we've got Beasley, we've got Bon Pastor, Cahill, we've got some new heroes as well that we will go into. Beasley at the moment, obviously he's got himself a lovely Playstyle Plus as well. I think them two with Rapid and Quick Step are two of the more favoured at the moment, with the left stick dribbling, the left trigger speed boost. That's going to be massive with the Rapid. Quick Step seems to be the one that really kind of gets it going, but I will always take a Rapid. Other than that, he's kind of your standard winger, to be honest. There's nothing too crazy about him. So I'd be very lenient to go into an A+, but I'm going to stick with an A because pace just doesn't get you enough now. We could go and buy a Diaby for 4,000 coins, and he's got the quick step, he's got pace, and doesn't have shooting like this guy. So that just is what it is. Bon Pastor, obviously if Capdevia's there, she's got to be there as well. Cahill, another one, kind of Cahill and Keane are both very similar in this role. Like, they both start off alright, but then just don't get the upgrades they needed. Obviously, we've got the power header. We've obviously got a very good amount of shooting, but that's really about it. Whereas Keane, he's got himself the chip shot, so pretty much just as useless. He's got more pace and shooting, so he will put himself in a better category. I think Cahill would just go one up, in my opinion, and then Keane would go one above him as well. The chip shot, you can use it, but realistically, it's not going to go anywhere, really. I don't know how many chip shots I truly actually do in this game. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins. With the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. Then we have one of the first players that I personally think should go into an S+, and that is Ramirez. Unbelievable card, coming in at 860. He's got himself the Intercept Plus, stats across the board, very, very good at that box-to-box, DM, get the ball forward. He is absolutely perfect in that role, in my opinion. And then obviously we've got Yaya Toure as well. Obviously an S+. Yaya is considered one of the better heroes, if not the best midfielder hero you can physically get. At 1.4, this would be a perfect card for everybody to get. Now, obviously, he's going to be a 1 in a million chance out of this upgrade. As you can see, we do have a fair few 85 to 87s. There's obviously a big kind of chance to get one of the absolute fodder merchants rather than this guy. Incisive pass. Yaya Toure has been in the game a few years now, and obviously with him, we know how good he is. He's tall, 4'4", got himself obviously the incisive. He's got different roles. He's got holding plus, deep line playmaker, and then a box-to-box plus as a CM. So really you're going to be looking at that holding, if anything. He's absolutely perfect, so I don't think there's any real questions going on right there. Looking at a few of the others, if we kind of go through a few of the more fodder players again, Campos can go straight in the bin. We'd look at kind of like a Berbatov, very similar to kind of how Noor, Dempsey, Beasley is. It's got decent stats for the start of the game, but unfortunately, pace really lets him down. The static movement from him is just not enough. Obviously, if you try and put him as like that false nine, that kind of target man, it could work if you're very patient with your build-up play. But I know a lot of people, including myself, are quick, they're snappy. You want that counter straight on the bat. Then we've obviously got a few others. Lundberg, very similar to Beasley. He's got himself a little bit more on that shooting, but the pace is a little bit less as well. But to be fair, he has been rubbish ever since, to be honest. We've got the Russian, very similar in terms of great attributes across, but not all across the board. No physical, no pace. That's going to really kind of stop him as much as it can. And obviously with him specifically, he's going against De Bruyne, Bernardo, Bruno, Bellingham. Like there is so many cams that you can go with. Even just cams in Heroes, to be honest, as well. Donovan's going to be a perfect example. The technical plus is nice, but it's not going to be enough. Rosicky would be very similar. I'd actually go potentially that A+, mainly because how vital incisive pass can truly be in this game. It is splitting. You've got the over-the-top through balls. You've obviously got just generic passing in general being a lot more clean, effective, efficient. That is what Rosicky brings, and definitely he will drop down very quickly once we start getting more upgrades. But for right now, I think it's definitely a bonus to have with him. We have Ollie, again, bog standard, nothing crazy. We obviously then have the likes of Cordoba, very good centre-back, to be honest. I wouldn't necessarily go S+ with him, but I'd definitely put him into a good category nonetheless. So, in fact, why is that pinned? Let's move there, and we'll pin... okay, so it's not going to work like that. Brilliant. To be fair, I think... other than maybe Rickon is just terrible in game. I've never really liked him. He's just not really worked at all. I think that would be all my B+, so we can kind of just put them in the bin at the moment. Any other S+, I'd probably only go for Yap Stam, just because of the kind of newness of him, but... if you do look at the stats across the board, the only thing really that I'm not a big fan of is obviously that Bruiser Plus. It works, like I said, he's got obviously a Playstyle Plus, so there is a lot of centre-backs without, but when you've got Playstyle Pluses from Virgil, Saliba, Militao, Arejo, you've got Van der Ven in form, plus then the other heroes and the other icons on top, it does make a difference in that top end. He's not necessarily going to be number one for it. Obviously, pace, defending, and physical are exceptional. 89 and 88 with 83 pace is brilliant. They have really kind of done up that card, in my opinion, a bit more than possibly what they could or should have done, to be fair. Looking at the rest of them then, we've obviously got the likes of Harry Kewell, definitely in that S. I think if we're looking at the strikers we've got, we did these before. We've obviously got, let's put them to the front, we've got Govu, we have got Smolarek, we've got Brolin, and I think, is there one more? I think that is all the strikers at the moment. So Brolin, Smolarek, and also Govu. It's funny because we had the kind of... it was like 5 or 6 icon hero strikers last year. We had the Smolarek, Brolin, Papin, Govu, Voler was kind of in that category as well, where they are very decent to start the game. They are very, very good in their own rights. Some of them better than others. You will see that very quickly. If you look at Govu, very good pace, very good shooting, very good dribbling. He's got himself the power shot. He's also going to be a 4-star, 3-star. Then you look at the likes of Brolin. We've got the technical plus, great shooting, great pace, great dribbling. And he's going to have the 4-star, 3-star. And then finally you have got Smolarek, who's coming in with the press proven, a little bit more on the bulkier side, 3-star, 3-star, but great pace, great shooting, great dribbling. And he's got a little bit more on that physicality side. So they are very, very similar. Obviously, you'd be looking at potentially Govu being your main man there. I would go him more towards the S. And to be fair, I think you could argue going with Brolin and Smolarek both in the S as well, but I'm going to go with one down from them because I think this year they're definitely not what they're quite meant to be at this point, especially with the strikers that we are getting already. Moving on, we've got Matuidi. Absolutely love him. If you remember Matuidi from back in the day, so many good cards. He's obviously got himself the pinged pass on this one. Decent pace for him. Obviously, the defending physical is going to be the best sort of shout for him, and he has got the holding plus role like Yaya Toure, but half the price at 600. Can't grumble. Now, obviously, with him, they're going. Most of the new cards they tend to give a nice upgrade, so obviously he's going to be up there. Nakata would go into the A. I'd go McManaman at the moment into an A plus. Joe Cole would definitely go up one. We managed to get him as a loan as well, which was fantastic. We got Z Roberto is obviously up there as well. Another brand new card in terms of what he can give you. He's obviously got himself the technical plus. He's got decent pace, passing, dribbling, physicality. He can also play a centre mid role as well if you really wanted to. But you'd obviously just go straight and out with Hunter for him. I think that's no question. 95 on the pace, 85 shooting. Very balanced. Very much a cam sort of environment. But he's a very nice in-game card as well, especially with the 5-star skills. The only thing we're missing is going to be that 4-star weak foot. John Onarise, to be honest, he's just there now. We've got so many good left backs, and because you can only have one of them, he unfortunately just misses the mark a little bit. We have Alex Scott always doing a service for the right backs. We then have Marquisio. Again, Marquisio's a funny one because even this year again, he's not quite what he was, and it's a weird phenomenon with him because I swear the first year that we got him, he was unbelievable. Like, I don't know if the meta just really suited him that year, but he was everywhere. There was an SBC, everybody did him. There was a new Trophy Titans, everybody got him. There was so many decent Marquisio cards, and he was pivotal in that centre mid role. And last year, you wouldn't believe he was even there. Now, obviously, when it comes to it, it all depends on how many cards you've got. We got one in Fantasy, it was a double upgrade, wasn't enough. Once you got to the greats of the game, unless you're an Italian fan, a Marquisio fan, or building a past and present, there's really no reason for you to have him. There are so many good cards already. It just wasn't feasible to have a Marquisio in your team. But I do think this time around he's still in the S. It's still a very good card. It's just not as sought after in my opinion. We have Dirk Kuyt, decent cam, nothing crazy on him. He'd go into the A. Same with Guti. Another nice card. He's a brand new card obviously for Real Madrid. We're looking at him, to be fair, with obviously a incisive plus, which is nice. Passing, dribbling's good. Defending and physical, not as much. And then shooting and pace is kind of semi there. People are obviously going to go with the engine or a shadow vibe from him, which gets him more pace. I'd probably say, as much as the shadow is great, 69 defending is not going to be enough. You might as well just go all out in to that passing sort of role. So another one that maybe with an upgrade, beef up that defending a little bit or absolutely push it to a cam roll, then obviously you could look at a semi-decent card. Rui Costa, I think for right now, would drop down. If he managed to get a Playstyle Plus, he could have definitely been in that A+, but we've got so many cams, it's unbelievable. Would go Jisung Park into a lovely A+. We then have the two brand new women in, is it Georges, I want to say? Yeah, I think so. She's obviously coming in with her 87, with also the Anticipate coming in as a centre-back. 5'8", kind of very similar to what we have with problems with the likes of Cannavaro or Cordoba in terms of it works unless you've got somebody that can manipulate the height of a centre-back. If you've not got anybody like a Virgil next to her, it's just not going to work. So for right now, I think she's very similar to Cordoba in terms of the aspects. The Anticipate is brilliant. I would say if she was to get a double upgrade, a double playstyle plus, the aerial plus would definitely suit her down to the ground. We also then have Williams as well, coming in as her prime, but we've got the 86 at 116 with the Flare plus. Decent centre mid, kind of towards more of a cam again, but again there's not really too much of a flair there. We've got the 5-star weak foot, which is nice, but only a 3-star skill. It will only get her so far, and actually to say that her lowest two stats are going to be defending and physical, we can't even put her as a cam. She's a centre mid or CDM, so it's a bit annoying there. And then finally we have got Goulet, another great card in terms of a winger. He's got himself the Flair plus also. there is nothing too crazy about him right now. I think he's a good, solid winger, but he definitely needs a little bit more in him to really make him into that next level right mid that everybody's going to choose. But that's going to be everybody from an 87. Let me know down below who you actually got. I can imagine that bottom category is going to be a lot of people. My first one last year was Campos. Who's it going to be this year? Peace.